No. Actually, I was thinking rather than admit that we've been slack, we could say something like, yeah, and thanks to everyone that's been listening to the last 4 weeks worth of episodes on our Patreon. That's how we've been posting them diligently. We haven't been slacking. Look, yeah, we've been a bit slack, but and we're probably going to be a bit slack over the next couple of weeks as well. Dare I say it? But that being said, we've got a big special season 2. Episode 1 planned. I tell you what, it's going to be huge. It's going to be big. A lot of your favorite faces, your favorite voices, mostly Dos and I, mostly in person. Let's sort it out. But anyway, enough over-promising, because we almost over-promised this awards show until it all came together and we seem to have a banging episode for episode 15, the last episode of the season, coming right up.
Oh yeah, last episode of the year too, mind you. It's quite exciting. I knew that we were going to be tight to get this last cut episode out before the silly season really kicked off, and the silly season kicked off a little bit earlier than we kind of thought. So
silly season. When did the silly season kick off for you? Because for me, it was at least mid-November.
I think it was when I snuck into Queensland. I think from there on out, she was a pretty wild ride. It was not a single quiet week after that. And still won't be. So I've just finished a 4-day bender, which was nice and refreshing. It was good to get one in the system, knocked off for the year. But and I think so. End of season 1, we'll open up season 2 probably February. To be honest, I think we just bite the bullet. Embrace January's crazies, and then get a bit more consistent in February. I just don't want us to overpromise.
No, I think you're right. I think we want to come back and we want to have that consistency that people know and love, quite frankly. They expect from us.
And that we're known for. Yeah,
100%. Exactly, like we've exhibited. And we'll do that. That's a good idea. All right, let's talk about that a little bit more behind the scenes. But in front of the scenes, before the scenes, weekly update, mate. What's been going on?
Oh, well, I guess there's been a hell of a lot going on. But the main thing that I guess I'm quite proud of as well, actually, which is rare for my weekly updates because it usually involves me being drunk.
Bit of debauchery,
yeah. And I ran a marathon.
Hey! So proud of you, mate. So proud of you.
Yeah, so that was pretty hype. Very undertrained, quite underprepared, and all the rest of it.
Amazing you finished, quite frankly. Amazing.
Yeah, there was definitely moments where I certainly didn't think it was going to happen. I think when it all kind of sunk in, you wake up before the race and you're they tell you to get as much food in your system as you can.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a runner and an eater. I think when I was running, I had a pocket full of lollies and a muesli bar and stuff. And I ate one lolly and I nearly threw up. And I was just like, all right. I just threw them all out. I was like, they're not going to help. But I started the morning by eating pasta at 4 a.m. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, man,
nice.
This is a different world. Normally I'm coming home from the clubs eating pasta at 4 a.m. But instead I'm about to run a marathon.
This is marathon inspo, bro. You're people see me doing marathons and they might think oh yeah, he works his ass off, blah, 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 which hasn't been the case since middle of November. Let's just say that. I've done bugger all. But regardless, you're kind of like the everyman inspo, dude. You can you've put in work. Don't get me wrong. You have put in work. And you do have a strong base level fitness. But to pull off the marathon you pulled off with, in the conditions that were probably totally new on race day, which is so ill-advised to be trying new things on race day. Yeah. It's incredible. It's nothing sort of impressive. And I think that a lot of people will probably look at that and go, that have base level fitness, and maybe not marathon fitness, and go, mate, I'll give that a shot. I think that's a really good thing, Dos. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to openly recommend it, though. There was points where I was just like, this is the hardest thing I've ever freaking done. Ever.
Oh, it's awful, mate.
It's a whole new experience. The drink stations. Oh, boy, the drink stations. They were a whole different ball game. I was so first one rocked up, just grabbed a bit of water, and then trying to drink that while you run. Holy shit, that's hard.
Wow, I can't believe that was a first time experience for you in a marathon. Yeah. That's actually crazy.
I was thinking that while that was happening. I was like, oh wow, you've never done this before.
Oh my god, I have not heard this. This is intense. You were a complete rookie.
Yeah, and it's an absolute wrestle too, mind you, because everybody's channeling into it, especially early on when everyone's bunched up, everyone's running hard.
And some people will just stop and walk right in front of you.
Yep. And you don't know, sometimes you know which ones are the sports drinks, but it's not that openly brought
You can
up,
make the
they just
mistake
kinda-
if that's not what you're chasing.
Yeah, and my original plan was to like you told me to go first water station, be like water, and like your next one, just like use the water to splash on your face, and then the next one.
No.
For
That's
a
not what I
sports
said.
drink. Well, that's what I heard.
Oh God.
And basically after the first drink station and the next one, it was literally grab one water, splash in my face, grab another water, drink a little bit, grab a sports
That's
drink.
what I
drink
said.
that.
That's actually what I said. That's the strat, bro.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Drink one and you splash one, and then you go to the next one. And at some point, anyway, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, that was quite an
Amazing,
experience. And
you're
but
good.
the biggest challenge was definitely they say there's like a what do they call it? The runner's
The
wall.
wall.
The wall.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's bullshit. I think it's definitely walls. There's definitely a number of points.
It's hurdles. It's a game of steeplechase or hurdles.
100%. Yeah, I think I hit the first one at 28, and then
Which is the classic wall. That is the
Yeah.
classic wall.
Then
Everyone
it-
says 27, 28, 29. They say that's where they hit the wall. That's the classic wall.
yeah, and at 32, I just got this random like second wind, I guess, and I was just like, yeah, let's go. Then I started running
Nice.
really hard and have this random super fast K compared to all the
Yeah.
others,
Yeah.
and that lasted 1,500 meters, and then I hit another wall, and then after that it was just every kilometer there was a wall
Yeah.
until probably 39. I think I
Yeah.
transcended a wall, and I think it was a cliff. It was like I was running, and I saw the 39K, and I was like, I was weeping. Like I couldn't, I wouldn't say crying because I didn't have
Wow.
any water. I didn't have any moisture to come out of my eyes because I knew that I had to finish and I was going to finish, but I knew I had to maintain the pain that I was
Wow.
in for 3 more kilometers, and it was so painful.
Were
Oh
you
my
even
God.
looking at the clock at that point? Because you came in just over 5 hours, which is which was your goal to get around 5, probably under 5, but just a
Yeah.
smidge over. Were you
Yeah.
like, can I make it under 5? Or were you just like, just make it?
Actually, well, the guy passed me, the 5K guy, the market dude. He passed me, but why the hell was he passing me then? That doesn't even make sense. Because I feel like he should have passed me later because I wasn't that far over.
Yeah, the
But,
nerve of him to pass on time.
Yeah, trying to fucking motivate me. Didn't work. He went fly past too. I was like, oh God. But anyway, it wasn't time. It definitely wasn't time at that stage. It was just get this done. Like, and yeah, by then, you're like, I was running like 8-minute Ks, 9-minute Ks pretty much.
Getting it
Like,
done,
I wasn't
bro.
sure if I was faster running or walking.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
classic. I've been there, dude. I've been there big time. Look, just to wrap this up, awesome job, mate. Awesome job. To run a marathon like that, really great job.
Yeah.
Super
Oh,
proud of you
actually,
as a runner.
I just had one highlight when I finished. Big Ben gave me a
Big Ben Jones.
Big Ben Jones was at the end for me. And
Oh, really?
yeah, with his missus. So shout out to them for coming
Oh,
along.
shout out. Big fans of the podcast. Obviously, big fans of you in real life as well. Fans that have entered into your real life world too.
Yeah. Oh, and just shout out to Mick, who I ran with for 36 Ks before
Wow.
we both just went our separate ways to survive. But at the end, Ben gave me a Powerade and the lid, the cap, and I took it off, had a drink, and then I dropped the cap, and this random guy in the crowd, he's just like, "Don't pick it up," and I looked up at him. And he's just like, "Don't do it. It's not worth it." And I was just like, "Thank you, man."
Oh, bro. That's insane.
I was like, "I can't leave
How
rubbish.
good.
I don't want to be littering," but I was like, "I cannot physically get down to this." Oh,
Yeah. Look, plebs at running festivals are the best. Plebs will just rock your world with the shit they say and the comments, the support, the off the beat, the random stuff, the encounters. Randomly, they will just absolutely pick you up. It's running for me is like that. It's like you see humanity even in your own self, and then you see it in the plebs that have no reason to be as supportive and to be as involved in your life as they are. They just do.
yeah.
And you know what, Dos? That happened to me. during a recent park run, a 5K run. We've done a complete swap here. I'm talking about the casual running effort. You're talking about the elite running effort. I was out there running a park run. I have not been training. My silly season started mid-November, and I have not basically run since that, pretty much. I've been pretty slack. But now I've got a really good reason to, because during this park run, I didn't bring my shoes, so I tried on my brother-in-law's shoes. Shout out Joel, and a fan of the podcast,
how did you
actually.
not bring shoes?
Because I wear RMs now, mate. I wear boots. I'm from the country. I'm from the outback. I don't wear runners.
So this wasn't in Longreach?
No, it was in Brisbane, Mitchelton Park Run. Shout out Mitchelton Park Run. Yeah. Shout out Mitchelton Park Run, because 4Ks in, I was making a run for, let's say, second place. I was taking over the third and second bloke in one fell swoop from fourth after starting off slowly, picking up each kilometre, feeling fresh, feeling good. Oh, I'm actually feeling a bit faster than I thought. All right, I'll step it up, step it up, step it up. Yeah. I see third and second. Weird feeling starts happening in my calf. Bit strange. Suddenly, heats up, and then bang, like an explosion. Something I've never felt before in my life. And I had to pull up. I was right next to second and third, literally mid-overtake. And I was doing one of those awkward hops that people that blow a calf muscle do. Oh, yeah. And they shot off. Anyway, needless to say, I'd strained my calf or sprained my calf. I'm not sure what the term is.
Sounds like you tore
it feels good now. I haven't actually run on it, but it feels like it's probably fine. So it's recovered really quick. But shout out to plebs. Shout out to the fast plebs who had no business being as kind to me as they were, because they were probably running really fast.
How were they kind to you?
Shout out to the slow plebs. Because they ran past me like, mate, cut your calf, how's your calf? Like, they could tell me, like, oh, you're in a bad shape. Because I was limping towards the finish line with a walk. Yeah. And they were doing times, sub 19 probably at this pace, because I was absolutely hooking, let's just say that. And they had the time to say, like, oh, mate, you're all right, blah, blah, blah. And they checked in on me. And I was thinking to myself, I might have. I think I probably would have said something. But I know that when I'm actually going for it, I'm pretty much dead to the world. I'm focused on the event. And I've got to say, shout out to the fast runners of Mitchelton, because that is a strange feeling, seeing actual fast runners say something to someone that's overtaken them at some point, like a cocky little prick, and absolutely flexed on them, and then had the decency to actually say something genuinely nice. Not to say something patronizing, which one person did, and he was like, oh, gone a bit fast, mate. I'll just smack him. I was like, you don't know how fast I can go. This is slow for me, bro. This pace.
I don't mind the chant play. I don't mind it.
Oh, he champed me hard.
Maybe even just a little butt tap as he goes past.
Oh, he champed me so hard. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, plebs are awesome. 1% of plebs are not awesome.
We all know that there's a 1% of the community that we all detest. So
that was that bloke.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a big weekly update, mate. Props to you though. Power to you. I love that, because we've got a big episode coming up now. Actually, we're talking the awards show, and we're up episode 15, mate. And I gotta say, I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna reflect a little first. I gotta say, proud of you. Glad we made it here. Glad we made it. Ep 15 is a long time. 15 weeks, mate. Longer than that, considering the other things that possibly came up and stopped us from uploading on time. But 15 eps, that's a pretty good start. Yeah,
that's huge. I don't know what I expected, to be honest, rolling in. And I guess that's... well, actually, no, I do know what I expected. And by 15 eps, I thought we'd be famous.
Yeah.
I kind of thought we'd be, really kind of transcended. Spotify would be inviting us to work events.
Logitech would be sending us equipment, stuff like that.
It must be because of COVID. That's why the events aren't really kicking off.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Obviously. Yeah, we were on track to be world sensations, and we still are, but we should have been there at 15 eps. We both know that, but obviously COVID happens, and shout out to everyone going through a tough time with COVID. We are too, evidently, because we're not rich, and that's probably what we should be.
See, if you're not rich, you can get COVID. It's been proven. Rich people can't get COVID.
Do you know what I expected though, aside from being world famous, which I didn't, because I've got a YouTube channel. Shout out Dan Prosser on YouTube. Daniel Prosser. I know it's a slow burn. I know it takes a long time. You build up that base, and you start off with possibly some friends. But from my YouTube days, I expected zero engagement. Pardon me. I've had a few to drink. Cut that one out. I expected zero engagement. And do you know what we got? We actually got a decent amount of engagement. We got some fun responses, some decent comments from people. Sometimes from people like, I was at parties with friends in Longreach, and they said, oh, I've seen that, road guide on Instagram. You keep posting, blah blah blah, and they make a comment, which is nice. But yeah, we've had some good engagement. But and that's what I want to say is what we got. So reflect on what we expected. I expected 0 engagement. What we got, awesome engagement. Thank you to everyone that sent in a video, a picture, or a meme, whatever. It's been really fun. So it's sent us a message on Facebook. Shout out Road Guide on Instagram. Sorry, I should say. Because yeah, it's been awesome engagement wise, particularly. And I don't want to negate the great Queensland support we've got, but shout out Victoria. This is controversial coming from me. And we shout out Queensland. Yeah. Shout out Victoria. Victorian fans, love you to death. Thanks for being so active. But also I'd like to shout out the few Queensland fans, not the few, but the few that really active Queensland fans that we've had. You know who you are. I've spoken to you. But Victoria in particular, I think, wins the engagement war, aside from our meme master, who we'll shout out later on.
Yeah, well, I reckon what we got, I think we actually gave some pretty good advice in there. Like, I think I'd surprised. Like, I was looking back, obviously, through the apps today, and I was like, wow, there was actually some good shit in there between a lot of actual shit. But there was some genuine advice that I feel like might have even helped the odd person.
Well, you heard, and I heard firsthand as well. We've both heard from people that said, hey, this, and it's come up repeatedly. These steps, these certain points, hey, they've changed lives. They've made the world a better place.
Yeah, it could have been something simple, or it could have been a really obvious step. But there's certainly plenty of steps that have, people have come up to me and been like, yeah, that was pretty good. Especially, I think the Hangover app, a lot of people think they know what to do, but they don't. And now they've got a bit of a better understanding of how to beat the devil's hangover.
Definitely. Did you learn anything from across the 15 episodes?
Well, yeah, I learned that we're not famous yet. That's pretty clear. I still have a microphone that is attached to my beard, and that is how I'm doing episodes.
Santa's gonna sell that for Christmas, I'm sure, dude.
Yeah, sure. Well, the new office that I'm moving into for work has a freaking podcast studio attached to it.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Can you use it?
I'm pretty sure.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm assuming so. We're probably going to book it out.
Whoa.
That's about it.
Man, my little home job studio is about to come under attack.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you been kicked out of your studio?
I'm in a new room now. No threat of aircon being an issue because there is no aircon in this room. I am dripping right now. I'm actually dripping. It's 40 degrees in Longreach. It's 6 o'clock at night. It's 40 degrees. It was 32 degrees at like 7 in the morning this morning. I am dripping. My headphones are wet. Anyway, let's not get into too much.
Well done. Well done. But I think the real thing that I learned was that I can commit to something.
True.
I think admittedly, there was a few patches of ghosting, but for the most part, I've definitely been able to commit to something that's outside of sport, which is a nice change of pace.
I agree, mate. Honestly, when I came into this, I was like, I'm looking forward to doing this just to see how far DOS can go. And I've got to say, until the recent hiatus, which admittedly was too long and not real good, but prior to that, the breaks weren't that significant. We might have missed out on a few days, might have missed out on even a week max, which I don't even think that was that common. But for the most part, it was really consistent, really good, and we're still going. Clearly, we're still here. We ain't going anywhere.
Strong. I never thought we'd have a
freaking
awards show. No. A bit above our pay grade. Well, I guess then the best way to start the awards show is it's got to be our what was your favourite app?
Yeah, look, a lot of apps that were really special to me. Honourable mention have got to be the apps early on where we thought, oh, hang on, we can actually do this. Oh, we're sounding good. The apps where maybe for me as someone that has done a bit of broadcasting and whatnot, to hear you sort of really come into your own and sort of carry the pod a bit, which was really exciting. Those apps were all really great. I know really early on those were some really special apps. Episode 2, I think particularly, maybe even episode 4 or 5, where we was like, oh man, now she was like, we had some good craft in there, I should say. But favorite app has to be one of the ones I've heard most back from, and it's got to be First Dates. First Dates definitely had its great points, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit later when we go through some of the best steps, because it definitely pops up a bit in the best steps or in the honorable mentions of the best steps. But First Dates was really good because I think, frankly, a lot of our friends, including you, Dos, still dating, still got those first date vibe, still looking for love, and it's one of the big points of life, and they are looking for some help, and I feel like we delivered.
Yeah, I think we definitely hit the nail on the head. with the first dates episode. And if anything, I feel like we had to cut that episode short from how long we could have just kind of rambled on some absolute gems. But I think we got the core. And yeah, and plus we can't give all the trade secrets. Otherwise, shit, I'm going to be single until I'm fucking 35. If the competition ups their game, I'm going to be in more trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I would agree as well. All
right, so the first award, well, maybe not an award, but first honourable mention, favourite app, first dates. Hats off to first dates. Good on you, mate. Wasn't here to make a 8-minute speech, so we'll keep carrying on. Let's start off with some of the awards. The Best Step Award. Now, the best step, we've narrowed the shortlist down to the best steps per step, I guess. There's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and we're going to figure out what the best step was based off of that. But let's start off with the best step 1 to get the shortlist going. Yeah, what was your favourite step 1, dude?
Well, I'd say, I guess, honourable mention was the Family Gathos and episode 7 with the Rainbow Road. And
Rainbow Road, good times.
Yeah, step 1, which was
shout out Scotty Mac.
Shout out Scotty Mac for the guest. And my step was putting love to the test, and by putting your family love to the test by rocking up to the Family Gatho, chronically hungover, and just by showing the willingness to put yourself through that much pain just so you could see your family. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of that with Christmas on a Saturday.
We do.
And everybody working Friday night and Friday celebrating the end of the year. So that's going to be a big one. And I feel like that's a big one for people to really kind of, revisit that step before this
Dos,
weekend.
You revisit that step regularly, quite frankly. It's definitely one close to your heart. For me, my favourite step 1, and it was from a very controversial episode, some might say. Some might say it almost got us cancelled on Twitter. It almost rocked the boat in Australia for us. But it was one that I truly believe is get your skin checked during summer. Really, go and do it. I can't recommend it enough. Get your skin checked, because the perk of it, aside from potentially finding out you've got cancer, which is important, and you should get that fixed early and often, you might find out that you literally can't die like Dos and I, which is pretty exciting coming into summer. Can I say that, Dos? Yeah,
I think it's good. I felt like this step started off so innocent. Like, you let us in with, like, get your skin checked. It was like, that's great, But the core element of the step being the fact that we're basically Superman and can't die. I think that was it was a big twist. And
it was.
Yeah, a lot of people can't really live up to that, but at least they can go get their skin checked.
Exactly. You either get your skin checked and get it sorted out and you live forever like we will because you've got it sorted and it gets fixed up. Yeah. Or it can't happen to you, which is great. And let's not revisit this too hard because we had to dig enough of a hole in that episode, number 9, Summer and the Vietnamese 1%, which is another great title. Step 1, I'd say, top step, get your skin checked. Great advice.
Get your skin checked.
Step 2, though, Dos.
Step 2, I think some of the honourable mentions for step 2 were definitely episode 4, Friends and Leeches, classic title. And
we've all got friends, we've all got leeches.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you've got leeches if you're making it, if you're going somewhere.
Exactly, and those leeches are friends. That's the key friends as well.
We might be those leeches.
I'm definitely one of them. So don't drop your leeches, people. But the step was the tight knit group chat, because obviously there's the big group chat and then there's the little ones. And you want to be in those little ones because that means they're your tighter friends. They're the ones that trust you to be able to gossip about everyone.
Yeah. In the big group chat, often cases is the case. Yes, I got to admit, I love the tight-knit group chat. Strong honourable mention. An honourable mention from me, I've got to say, and we're sort of doing this on the fly, Dos. We've got sort of our short list, but I think we're sort of feeling out what we think is the best. And we might go head-to-head on what we think is the best. But it is one of mine, and it's just a shout-out because I know it came up during one of the episodes after episode 13, Clubbing and Nervous Pilots. Another great title, another great story, weekly update. Drink management, in particular, my favourite event, the TAC Vom. I feel like the TAC Vom highly underrated. I feel like everyone knows how good it is, but not many people have the guts to actually achieve it, to achieve nirvana from a TAC Vom. You mentioned that you went to a wedding, and that was core to getting the wedding going ahead, to saving the wedding, some might say, was a TAC Vom. So I really appreciated hearing that. It was a strong tip, strong step. But an honourable mention, for step 2.
I just wanted to highlight just on your last honorable mention for the tack vom. I think you could nearly put that into every episode. I swear you always tried to make a step turn into a tack vom step.
There was resistance every week. I was like, moving out, tack vom. Family gatherings, tack vom.
Tack vom.
I finally got it in.
First dates, tack vom.
Yeah, summer tack voms, budgets, tack vom. You can.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not very smart because you end up drinking more. Anyway, maybe there was reason for the resistance, but yes, tack vom did almost make a mention in every step.
Yeah. And I think the award for step 2 is got to be episode 12, first dates. And impersonating doctors.
Strong app.
Was the wear linen. I
One
can't
of the most
believe.
absurd steps. One of the most absurd steps.
Yeah, I wrote it like as kind of like a filler, and then like we went to like revisit it to see if I wanted to elaborate on it. And I was like, no, you know what? That's a bloody good step. Like that's a genuine advice. Now I get all these photos from mates and listeners that are on dates, and before they go on the date, they send me a snap, be like, "We're in linen. Wish me luck."
Oh, you need to tag the road guide. We'll repost that step 2. We'll post every time. But for the reference, episode 12, first dates and impersonating doctors, step 2. This person's exhibiting good form.
Yeah, literally. I don't know how it's become such a cult following. I think when we eventually get our the road guide clothing line going,
it'll be linen.
It's going to be linen.
That's so good. We always thought it. That's a great start. I knew it was legit when it started coming up in Queensland circles, because shout out my Queensland listeners. There's a few of you, so I can't just shout you out, but you know who you are. But even my girlfriend was like, Dan, linen. We need to get you in linen. I was like, whoa. And she's like, yeah, I heard first dates. Doss is right. We need to get you in linen. And I was like, wow, it's serious if my girlfriend can make it far enough into the episode to suggest something. So
yeah.
Strong advice.
Yeah. No, that was quality. And I think step 3, our best step 3, man, we really are going off the cusp here. I haven't even read through these.
Look, step 3, the reason why you're having such a tough time is because step 3, unfortunately, if there's an award for the weakest step consistently, step 3 was our consistently weakest step. We went back through all the step 3s and they were all great. They were all fantastic. But were they at the road guide standard? No, they weren't. They were kind of intermediate steps that sort of maybe weren't strong enough like a starter or strong enough like a finisher, which probably makes sense why they were sort of the weakest step. But let's just kick one off. For me, one of my favorite steps. Actually, Doss, I think we might have to go head to head here on what the best step is. I want to hear what you think is the best step 3 step.
Well, the best ones were literally came from you. Because I feel like you must have had more of the step 3s, and that's probably why it's ended up being like the weaker step.
Dude, I can't believe that is so untrue. I mean, I had a number of step 3s. I'll admit, even I was going through, I was like, oh man, okay, all right, not that one. Ooh, that was me. But that is not how I was expecting you to take this. All right, stuff it.
No, I'm going to give you credit. I was getting on across to give you credit.
I'm talking now. Step 3. The best step 3, and from my great steps in step 3, the best one is be smart about how you take part in rounds. Be the bloke that dodges rounds, because I tell you what, it's an easy way to save 80 per round, maybe 160 over 2 rounds. You could be saving hundreds of dollars per night if you're smart about how you take rounds. Dodge rounds. This is episode 5, budgets. This is great budgeting tip. And communism, which is another part of that title there. Step 3, be smart about when you take part in rounds. There's always 1 or 2 mates that get out of buying a round because people lose track. Be that mate. That is the best step 3. I don't care what anyone says.
So
what's the honorable mention,
fundamentally against that step. I think it's probably because I'm the instigator and I'm like, yeah, let's get around, everybody. So I'm the first one, and then I spend the rest of the night
that's why I knew you were such good
chasing.
I hang out with you because I'm like, ooh, he's going to take my round.
Yeah, I spend the rest of the night fucking chasing everyone that was in the first round, and I'm like, it's your turn, it's your turn.
You do. And that's when I do, I don't know what step it is of clubbing, but that's when I ghost.
Yeah, that's you do a runner. Yeah, but I think another strong step, just an honourable mention, was episode 8, classy events and allied Karens. It was drink
Shout
smuggling.
Out allied Karens.
Yeah, so it's still a drinking kind of step 3, which is seeming to be a common kind of theme. But yeah, it was just about hiding drinks, and I think there were some real gems in there, like especially the Melbourne Cup. You can hide some tips. Hide alcohol in like little plastic flask things and stuff like that, so they don't come up the metal detectors and all the rest of it. There was some good stuff in that. I think. Yeah. Both had some good positives, but I think one's a little bit more of a good bloke for the group, and the other one's more looking after number one.
which is in this dog eat dog world, sometimes a step 3 like mine is what it takes. But yeah, you had some great stories from the Melbourne Cup, so shout out your step 3. It is the honourable mention though, especially because you decided to take offence, to take an attack against my step 3s. Step 4 though, Dos, this one's an undisputed. This is an undisputed option for step 4. I went through all the step 4s, some bangers. This one stood out to me.
Yeah, what are you going to say it?
Oh, well, yeah, okay, look, it was one of yours, Dus, and it was a surprise to me because it's not something I've ever had to think of or concerned about when I moved in with people. From episode 6, Moving Out and Small Hands, another cracking Spotify title, let's face it, or Apple Music, wherever you listen to us, podcast. Yeah. Step 4, don't sleep with your roommates. And that's fine. That's obvious, I think. But cuddling is fine, though. The cuddling is fine, though. That always messed me up because I'm just not sure that blurs the line as much. It keeps the line as clear as you think it does. I think it blurs the line pretty hideously, does. And cuddling is a threat. Cuddling is a big threat.
Yeah. Well, I think when I designed my steps, I feel like, you got to, if you're taking something away from someone, like when you're taking, the opportunity to sleep with a roommate, you got to give something back, Give
them a cuddle.
Give them a cuddle, That's an innocent route.
Yeah, I thought that was nice. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. Shout outs to cuddling roommates. Because, look, don't be too proud to cuddle your roommate. Male or female, give them a cuddle. Go on. Tonight.
Just give them a little bit of love.
Just give them a cuddle. Don't sleep with them. Don't be weird.
Yeah, don't be weird.
Consent. Cuddling consent.
Cuddling consent. We're very pro-consent.
Yeah, pro-consent, but give them a cuddle.
And, well, speaking of doing something that doesn't require consent...
in fact, you never want the consent question to come up with it.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble if they question you on this. So step 5, again, universal. Mind you, a lot of the step 5s, we definitely kind of winged it. And
they were huge. They were
really,
big steps.
they
could be anything. They could be simple. They could be very complicated. Yeah. But
they weren't documented. They were just bang off the cuff. A lot of them. And this one was definitely off the cuff. It was episode 4, Friends and Leeches, and step 5 was leech. Period. It was just embrace the leech, make friends, and then leech.
Just leech.
Yeah, it's just that easy. Life is easy if you're leeching. You're on a backpack. They're the ones wearing the burden, and you just get to enjoy the ride.
You've heard the saying. It's not about what you know; it's who you know, and that is the leech's motto. That's how leeches get by. Yeah. And I think most people are leeches. There's a lot of leeches. Don't be ashamed. We all leech. Yeah. Dos and I are simultaneously trying to leech right here. You might be leeching off a friend. You might have a 1% friend. You might have a few 1% friends. Shout out to a future reference in this episode. We'll be focusing on the 1% guests. But leech. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Go on. Make sure you've got a friend that you can leech off. Go on, do it.
And the other thing is, guys, leeches get the bitches. The beaches.
Really? Leeches get beaches. They do. Oh, except for summer, they get the beach house, man. You're right,
that's it.
Get beaches.
That's works out. There you go.
Nice.
I knew that's where I was going with it. So
is that where you? I don't think it was, but I'll pay it. I'm going to pay it on both fronts. 'Cause you're right. Either way, it works out, like you said.
Yeah, we're feeling very positive.
Dos, real quick, because at some point I've got to go and walk a dog here. No, I don't have to walk a dog. We've got big events happening in Longreach for Christmas. I can't afford to miss. Is there a favourite step from that short list of steps to you that you're super proud of?
Overall. Oh, this is a little curveball.
Look, if I was to take the lead on this, let's see. I've got to say my favourite, I can't believe it. It's wear linen. Linen has
I was going to say the same thing.
Prominent. I can't believe that. And I'm sorry if you've just tuned in and you're like, this is literally the best step they've got, wear linen. You don't understand actually how profoundly life-changing it is. I'm yet to actually start wearing linen, but let's just say I've got shortlisted a lot of linen clothes that I'm yet to buy.
Yeah, got it on the Christmas list. Yeah,
Possibly
no,
one of the
it.
shittest steps that turned into the goat step.
It turned
Amazing.
into an
Shout out
absolute
Linen.
gem. Yeah, shout out to linen. Anyone that wears linen, listen to the Road Guard.
At Road Guide. At Road Guide
Yeah,
on
at Road
Facebook.
Guide.
At the Road Guide on Facebook. Instagram. Sorry. Jeez. Gosh.
Oof.
Anyway. Instagram.
Come on, man.
Sorry, fucking chill, bro. Chill.
Instagram's our way into the metaverse.
Oh, man, don't say meta. People think we're talking about Facebook. Anyway, let's go into the next award category of the few award categories we've got here. Best episode titles. We took some pride on these episode titles to some extent. For the most part, it was a collaborative process based off of the iconic moments that came off the cuff or randomly in an episode. In some cases, I just went and chose one because I felt like it. And we're going to wait for you to respond. Because you had a schedule to keep to.
If I missed my half an hour window to come up with a title.
Half an hour window, man. Don't listen to him. That's fraudulent.
Yeah. Well, I think some honourable mentions. I think I'm
Yeah.
going to give the honourables today. And
Go.
honestly, I think one of my favourites is definitely Budgets and Communism. Just the clash. Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. And then Summer and the Vietnamese 1% was another absolute classic.
The Vietnamese 1% got a few comments, and it was quite funny. I got to say, classy events and Allied Karens, that's one of my honourable mentions. I don't know how you feel about that, but Allied Karens, there's nothing like having the passion, the rage, the strength of an Allied Karen on your side.
You feel invincible. Definitely.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some great ones in there. I mean, looking back, there's some crackers, some great references. But I got to say, my favourite of all time has got to be, and I've forgotten here, Moving Out and Small Hands. Small Hands, it was just kept coming up. It was an absolute sweat on my behalf. Sweatier than I am at the moment in this unair-conditioned room in 40-degree heat. Small Hands kept coming up. People would have the nerve to say it in public.
Oh, it has caught on in public.
Yeah,
that was going to be my question.
Thankfully, a very niche group in Longreach listen, but my friends outside of Longreach definitely will say, I meant reach for a bowling ball. Nice small hands, bro. It's like, no, I use a decent sized bowling ball. Shout out bowling balls. I use a good size, bigger than most people with bigger hands.
Shout out 13 XL.
Not to comment, not to compensate, but I use big bowling balls. All right,
mate. Whatever you need to say.
I'm gonna quit on this one. That was my favorite episode. I think that was the strongest title name. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm actually going to give it to you because I felt like the fact that it was able to be brought up throughout the rest of the pod, I think that was a clear-cut sign that it really kind of trended for something that literally, obviously, we decided, in that what would you call it, editing window, right? And I managed to hit you up in that 30 minutes as well and respond to that one.
And we agreed instantly. I was like,
agree.
It was small hands.
It's
small
that
hands.
It's definitely that one.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
I think. Well, I'm going to steal it. I'm going to steal it here. I'm going to segue it. These are tough segues. This award ceremony. It's it's really kind of tough.
It's a good segue. The segue's working. Keep it going.
It is. Okay. Work it into the next award is multiple awards to episode guests. I feel like obviously we loved everyone that came on, and everybody had their own.
Thanks to the guests. We love yous.
Massive.
Every single one. 14 of yous. Honestly, don't ever think for a second we don't cherish your contribution. You were an absolute stud. We loved you. Sure, factually speaking, objectively speaking, there were stronger stories. We all get that. But your story was perfect for the episode, and we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on the pod.
And whoever was in your episode, you were the best guest on that episode. So don't you ever forget that.
Every time.
Every single time.
You were the best guest.
Yeah. So that's something you can hold your head high. Before we hand out these awards. So I just want you to appreciate that. I think the funniest moment from a guest coming on, I think it just had to be episode 2, Darcy and the dead air that he brought.
That everyone saw coming. At least you and I both.
We knew he was going to do something. We knew it was going to be something. But the dead air, that just shook me. It shook me too much.
It was painful. It was like, oh man, here we go. We're about to get rocked on our own pod. And that was the start of getting rocked down our own pod. Shout out Connor for being the first guest. Always an honourable mention for being the first guest. But Darcy was the one that set the tone for most people that followed that tried to actually challenge us on our own podcast.
Oh, there's a lot of that going on.
I don't think it was topped. I think the dead air was the most offensive thing anyone's done on the pod.
Yeah, 100%. Just really, yeah. And there was a lot of people that kind of came at us after that, and to the extent of where episode 7, we actually had to make our first cut. We had to cut the guest, and that was Scott McGuinness, who was the first guest
Scott,
to be cut.
We're fine to incriminate ourselves, but don't you dare come on here and try to incriminate us. Even though you weren't going to incriminate us, it just sounded like you're about to incriminate us.
Yeah, he had something. I'm sure he had something. We definitely made the right decision.
Hear it. We weren't ready to risk it. Not when we were just about on the cusp of fame. In fact, that might have stopped us from reaching full fame. That's all right.
That's true.
We'll focus on that on episode and season 2. But yeah, first we cut off from 1%er Scotty Mack, who was also, I think, the most frequently referenced 1%er. But
well, no, he
someone
wasn't.
that was no. I believe he was the most frequently referenced 1%er, but the most frequently referenced, who was also a 1%er, referenced not only for his 1%, but also for the kilometers that he dared not ever tread, 2 kilometers, had to be Nelson. Nelson, shout out Nelson, an absolute stud, one of the great stories. But he was referenced heavily, not only for being 1%, but also for his distances, because surprisingly, distances came up a lot in all the preceding episodes. And I always made to mention, Nelson wouldn't have tried that. Or, that was way short of what Nelson had to achieve. So shout out Nelson.
What's that in Nelson distance?
Exactly. Exactly. How do we compare that? So shout out Nelson, most references.
Yeah.
Full stop, partially 1%, partially distances. So that's what made him a cut above the rest.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I certainly feel that. I think, and just, in a way, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I do want to shout out the 1%ers that were willing to come onto the pod and risk being roasted and attacked.
And risk being seen with 99%ers. It's kind of disgusting for them, and they swallowed that their pride.
That's big. And I think we had 4 in the end, 4 of our 13 guests, because Darcy appeared twice, so there's only 13.
I thought it would be more. I thought there was more 1%ers.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. Juzzy was one, Nelson was another, Christina. Yeah, you and your horses. Don't think you got away that easy.
You equestriette.
You equestriette, as they say in the local terminology. And Scotty McGuinness, obviously, he's the fucking 0.01%.
Yeah.
That bloke. But
great
looking
story,
at it,
great story.
Yeah, I think the episode 9 Dodds, he's on his way to the 1%. And
self-made 1%er maybe.
Self-made for sure. He's definitely on track. And even probably episode 1, Connor's probably on the same route. But the rest of you're all battlers like us, and we love it.
Yeah.
We absolutely love it.
And we know what we love? We love someone that contributes heavily to the Instagram. And that could be any one of you. And there was, at numerous times, any one of you could have contributed. None of my friends could have, because Dos had the Instagram and he didn't want to share.
Kezi made it. Kezi made
barely,
a few
mate.
memes.
I groveled. I had to make concessions. I had friends. Shout out Chunch. If you're listening this far into the episode, mate, which you do. Chunch tried.
George,
so many people tried and
Nev.
failed. George tried and failed. But Jed, Queenslander.
Yeah, I think that's the first. Is that the first Queenslander award? Darcy's technically from New South Wales.
No, he's not. He's a Queenslander. Shout out to Queenslanders, Jed, meme master. Thank you, Jed. Jed, you worked hard. You hustled.
He did work really hard.
Yeah. Even if you didn't make the cut on the pod or on the Instagram, we laughed in the group chat, in the small group chat.
There were some memes that we couldn't post because of a lot of
we want to be
reasons.
Famous, not cancelled.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Like getting famous for one cancelled article is just not quite the famous we were looking for.
We want sustainable fame.
Yeah, consistent.
Look, I want to give a final shout out, the final award here, and it was for the best story. Now, there were some great stories. If you told a story, thank you. And I've heard comments from different people shouting out different people's stories. I'm always surprised. Oh, you like that person's story? You like that person's story? Everyone's story has had had a strong point that people have commented on. Yeah. But the best story, amazingly, came through in the clutch. Episode 14, Dos.
Oh, yeah. At the last minute, good old Clara came through with the literal car on the train track. Like, that's surreal. It's a movie moment.
She was telling us that Netflix called her up to say they wanted to make a special on that, make a Netflix movie.
Yeah, but she said she'll only do podcasts, so that's why we managed to get the gig.
We actually signed exclusive rights to further stories. We told her, "Hey, get on those train tracks again, girl. We want more stories."
Yeah, 100%. I'm literally looking at tram tracks right now, and it could really do with a car on them.
Yeah, no, some great stories. Shout out, Clara. Absolute stud story. That was an absolute ripper.
Yeah. Do you have a runner-up? I'm going to throw you on the spot here because I think there's some really good stories.
I got to admit, I did really enjoy Christina's story because Christina's story, and hey, shout out to the ladies coming through with some strong stories. Yeah. Christina came through with an iconic reference, a reference that I hated, quite frankly, disgusted me, that I didn't want to have any airtime on the pod, but kept making his way back into the story, and that's because we care about him. And because we do genuinely believe that... Dos, can you finish this one for me?
Rest in peace, Mario. Rip Mario.
Peace, the homie, dude.
Yeah, he had a good run. And
strong reference to come out of that, which I hated, and I frequently call Dos out and don't mention it again. It feels bad that I'm referencing it here, but it did come up a lot, and it was a strong reference. So to shout out to Mario, shout out to Christina.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for me, honorables. Well, Nelson's story was just beautiful. I did enjoy that. I think if it wasn't for if it was someone in the 99% experiencing that story, I think it could have been a little bit more juicy. But being the 1%, he goes for the safer options to. But it was classic, and I think Darcy, his second story about the hospital date, that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
That was.
What about
classic.
Dodds? Dodds initiated the I will fight anyone meme for Darcy for Dossel.
That's
from
true.
That moment on, he was like, "Will I fight Dodds was like, "Will I fight this Vietnamese person?" In Maxine's story, it was like, "Will I go ahead and fight this?" Was it Vietnamese person?
The red light district.
Cambodian? I don't know.
Thailand
and
red light district.
It culminated in Clara's story with potentially Dodds going head-to-head with the train. So I feel like Dodds' story did have impact, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely made me spiral. my responses before then were quite peaceful and probably educational, whereas this one I was not recommending to many other people.
Dos, to wrap up the awards show episode, which has been a lot of fun to reminisce, because it has been great, and we're going to keep them coming, because we're having a great time.
Oh, wait.
You're having a great time too.
Can I just say, Clara having the best story, does that mean she's the roguiest roger for season 1? Is that a title?
She's the roguest roger. She is Chief Roger. She's the resident roger, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So, season 2, if you get the call up, can you beat Clara's story? Maybe not. Maybe Clara's going to be the undisputed roger champ for season 2 as well, just based off the season 1 performance. We'll be giving you a call. Give us a call. Hey, get on the Instagram. Let us know. Hey, I heard Clara's story. Great story, but my story's way better. Go on then.
Come on, show us. You got your chance.
You won't. Nah, you won't.
Give you airtime.
They won't, because it's been great. It's been a great season, Dos. Really proud of you. Really proud of the effort. Thanks to everyone for being involved. Thanks for listening. If you listen to an episode and you're listening to this one this far in, you're a stud. We love you. Appreciate
Even
it.
Just
it's
one
been
episode.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely love it. 100%. Love all the memes come in. Everybody just messages and just slight comments even. I don't mind it. And people bullying me at work about having a podcast at times, and I'm just like, I love it.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep. It's fun. Hey, we're having fun. The joke's on you if you're not having fun, because we are. It's like, Dos, season 1 in the books. Great job. Great job to all the listeners. It's been real. How are we going to wrap this up?
It's been real.
Oh, I know how to wrap it up, dude.
I've got one. I had a cool saying. I just came up on the spot.
Go for it.
It's been real. It's been great. It's been the roguest. Hey. I knew you were going to do that. Let's not fucking catch it on. We'll see you in 2022.
Let's do it.